Alright, we are back. It is July 5th, day after Independence Day. It's about 12:30. It's today's supposed to be cooler than it has been, but it's still going to be above 90 heat index. So I want to get into these gals before it gets much warmer. Especially these gals, because an hour ago they weren't bearding and now they already are. So main goal here is just check supers. I might put the skateboard in. I haven't decided yet. It just depends on how full supers are. Smoker is not smoking great. So we'll see. Bro, sorry girls, knocked a couple of you off there. Let's see how full these are. I'm gonna undo this and pull it down in order to check it because it's too damn tall. Actually, I probably can pull a frame or two without doing that, just so I'm not digging around too much. Look out, I don't want to smash you. You don't want to be smashed. I mean, there's nectar in there, but it's not capped at all. So, let's check one more towards the middle and see what we got there. Looks like it might be the same or similar. Yeah, I mean, they started to cap a smidge on this side, but so we'll just leave this running. I mean, the only problem is the dirt spot. Ah, shit, sorry, girl, smashed the shit out of you. Dirt spot to hit, so, I mean, is there any value? Well, we'll see what's got in the other supers, and then we'll go figure it out. Just want my finger, and then I'm going to smash the bee with it. We'll see what's in the next couple supers, and that might change. I may just have to switch stuff around, pull that one that's on top down to the bottom if these other two are capped. Weighs a ton because it's not capped, but it's, oh shit, it's still mostly full. Raw. Yep, it's not quite full. It's actually not as heavy as I thought. Man, there's a shit ton of bees there. I mean, I've smoked the hell of them, and there's still a gajillion bees in that box. Like, every frame is packed. This hive is so freaking strong. What do I do with there it is. Actually, I'm just going to be pulling super frames. I don't need that frame rest. Let's see what we got here. Stuck. Yeah, that's more. That's the one I put back has pollen, which is kind of annoying. But again, they're backfilling, but they're probably also eating on it. There's a weird queen cup way up here. Hopefully that was there before. And I just missed it. I don't know if this is the super I put back on. Surely she's not up here. That wouldn't make any sense. And if she's not up here, why the hell would you put a queen cup up here? That's weird. Yeah, this one looks like it's partially capped. Oh, very partially. They just capped a couple. So, yeah. Just nectar up here, but that queen cup's a little weird. So, all right, let's put that back in here. We'll just leave it. I mean, they'll eat what they want, and I'll eventually harvest other stuff. So, let's keep on keeping on, get down into the bottom box. Make sure I got good larvae, etc., and then we'll get out of here. Man, that's just not smoking great for some reason. Not much of anything there, so let's just pop this one off. Those are the 2 wet zippers I put back on last time. So we'll take a peek inside here real quick. Hopefully find larvae. And then get out of here. Because these guys will start bidding like mad after sun is starting to peek back on it. It was off for a little bit, but now that it's coming back on, they'll start bearding like crazy. Because they'll be agitated from me being in them, and then just from being hot. Go up easy here. That's super light. So they've eaten. Oh, actually, it was brood all the way over here. Doesn't look like they're back. Well, let's see. I don't see any. That looks all really dry. There was brood all the way over here. Now there's some. Nope, that's not. That's nectar. That's not larvae. I don't see any. I get some queen cups, which is. Surely these gals aren't going to swarm. I mean, they're so damn big, it wouldn't shock me. Actually, why did I do that? Pull that out and didn't get it out of the way. So let's scooch over to the middle. If I can. Get these out of the way. That is honey over there. Tons of it. Huh. That's weird. So we're putting all the brood on this side. See some drone brood there. That looks like a frame of cat brood there. Maybe. Yeah, I mean it's a little spotty, but this time of year they're so big. Probably don't even need to backfill at this point, so. Oh, I see larvae over here. Not a ton of it, but you wouldn't expect a ton this time of year. I think it's larvae and not bee bread, but it's hard to tell. Alright, what's the next thing I got? Let me take a quick peek in the bottom boxes. I'm wondering if maybe they've just shifted down to there. Don't want to be in here too long though. It's hot. They're hot. I'm hot. Everybody's hot. Yeah, same. Obviously. Oh, there's some larvae in the bottom. Okay, so yeah, she's here somewhere. That's all I really care about at this time of year. That and pulling supers is needed, and it was not needed. So, all right, gals, move out of the way. Move out of the way. I don't want to smash you, dummies. All right. So we are not going to bother in the bottom box. Found larvae there. A couple spots. Not a ton, but don't need to worry about that. And there's not enough capped anything for me to start. I brought the blah, blah, blah. Man, my brain's not working today. Not sleep enough. Brought the escape boards out, but not going to need it on this one for sure. So I'll just put these back together. Ugh. After shaking the piss out of them because they're stuck together. So many bees. They went inside there and went back down, which now means the top box is the full box. Alright, just so many bees. I want to show that to the camera. This is in the freaking second super from the top. Just a gajillion bees. This hive is so big, so strong. It's ridiculous. And again, this box has bees on every frame. So, squished a couple of them. I hate when I do that, but sometimes you just can't avoid it because they won't move. All right, they've got enough, obviously, food to eat on. So, but not enough cap that I'm gonna start pulling. So we'll just get out of here, let these girls do their thing. Probably still, I mean, the dearth is probably mostly started, but I still see some stuff blooming. Still see a shit ton of foragers coming in and out. They may just be bringing water, but there's still so much activity in this hive. It's not like they've really slowed down. They should have, but they can't stop, won't stop. All right. All right. Let me move the camera over to here. Get these. See if they didn't go crazy on brooding up there. A little bit, but not as much as I feared they might. All right. This is one of my splits. You know what I didn't put in there? Well, I'm not bothering with it now. Weren't any small hive beetle traps in there. I may. Okay, well, let's grab one and stick in the very top of that just to be safe. Because that'll be easy enough to pop the top off. Because I don't know if I had any in there. I may have one in the very bottom, but I didn't obviously get into that. Let's go ahead and. I'm not going to worry about flipping the camera over, but let's go ahead and get some. At least one trap in there because they tend to run the beetles high. I didn't see any beetles in there. Again, I didn't get into every box, but you'd think looking into 4 boxes I would have saw a beetle. But then again, this hive is so freaking strong. Maybe they're just like, yeah, we eat beetles for breakfast. Sorry, gals, I'm back for just a second. I will make this quick, I hope. All right. Stick that somewhere it'll fit. Not smushing comb. There we go. All right. You girls, push the beetles there, please. All right. Get this back on without hopefully smushing bees. The corner and slide works better than just straight down, but you just still end up smashing bees because they don't know to move to leave smushing. All right. There we go. Small hive beetle trap in. All right. On to this one. Whew. Man, it is freaking hot already. One hive in. One of my splits. I didn't read my notes from last time, which was dumb. I mean, it's a split, so it's just been slowly building. Kind of like my smoker, slowly building. Get out of my face. That one's trying to kill me. Let me give the smoker a boost of fire. See if I can get a little better smoke. Just really thin right now. There we go. Get this one that keeps trying to pop me in the face out of my way. Nope. All right. This one's going to be so stuck. Not a ton of bees, but again, it's a split. Should have a god-awful number of bees. All right, gals. I'm going to go down. Just break the box. Stucky, but not awful. All right. Again. Okay, hello. Okay, number of bees on the lid. I always like to take a peek just to make sure. I mean, it's got a queen excluder on it. She shouldn't be up here, but I see people posting videos of, oh, there's a queen on my inner cover. Wow. All right, so this my beetle trap has really nothing in it, including liquid, so let's fix that before we get too much further. That way we can put it back in. It's actually useful. All right. You stay there. All right. So a quick check here, then we'll get out of here. Again, this is one where I thought about, like, if they ran this bone dry, of putting a feeder on, like I'll do it later this week. I'm not going to reopen them right now, but this is a time of year when apparently bees can store. I mean, there's nothing on there. Nothing. I mean, it's drawn, but nothing. Yeah, I may have to give these girls feed just to. Yeah, unless that one's got a decent amount of nectar in it. I'll pop into the Let's see. Damn. It's on the bottom. Let's open the. Yeah, there's a little here. Oh, there's one that's fully capped, so maybe not as bad as I thought. I'll just have to keep it. Yeah, that one's almost fully capped with pretty heavy. The ones that were built up are pretty heavy. The ones that weren't are absolutely nothing. So it didn't have a ton. I have to keep a close eye on these gals. I may actually, yeah, just make a note to, might need to pop back in here and give these gals some food. Obviously, probably just pull this super off and just throw a feeder on for a little while. Started bringing feeders out, and I was like, oh, they'll be all right. They might still be. We'll see. We'll get into the next box. Question will be, come on. Question will be, what's it look like below there? Because if don't have a decent amount of food stores there, I will need to pull that super somewhat soon and just stick feed on them, because otherwise they're going to be toast. And it's still technically a split that's building up, so I don't even think it'd have all these frames drawn. Man, there is not a lot of bees in here. Yeah, there's not a lot of bees in here. I may have to feed these gals. I mean, they hasn't built up real great, so yeah, I think we're just going to feed these gals and just say those supers are whatever. So what I'll do is, well, and I do need to peek in here, make sure I still got a queen, because they really haven't done much to the frames. That's why there weren't so many bees over this way, because they weren't doing anything to them. Yeah, I mean, laying, but pretty weak. Make sure she's not on here. I think I see eggs. I do see eggs. So she might be here. Let's slow down. You on here, Mama? See a little wiggle action over here. You over there somewhere? No, I don't see you there. Yeah, I see eggs all in this. So they're due a big boom, but they need food. They don't have enough. There's no stores in this. There's no stores hardly in here. There's looks like a couple frames. There might be some more in the bottom, but at this point it doesn't matter. I need to get these. I'm not trying to get honey off this hive this year. I'm trying to build it up because it's a split. So, yeah. What we might do, well, I can come back out and do it later. It's not like it's that big of a hard ask. I might pop the top back on this. Stick it back together, pop the top back on, and then run inside and grab the feeder. And that way I can do it while I'm doing it, not trying to do it later and put suits back on. And I'll try to do it without suits and get stung right between the eyes. That's always no fun. I'll just put the feeder directly on top of the super and let them do that. But yeah, they're too weak. These gals need fed. Like I said, there might be a decent stores in the bottom, but there's no point in risking it. Since this one's goal is to build honey next year, not this year. Man, how did I get that? Was that box that cattywampus to start? Surely not. No, it had to be, because I haven't been in there yet. Hell, that probably didn't help. Boxes. Not even all the way on. I don't think it was enough to... Yeah, it wasn't enough to vent them out or anything, but still. This probably screws up their thermoregulation quite a bit. Tell you what, since I got that box loose, even though I hadn't planned to do that, I'm going to go ahead and pop it off to see what's in there. Yeah, they hate when I breathe on them. Yeah, those will look pretty damn dry. I mean, there's some honey over here, but in general, everything looks pretty damn dry. So we got to feed these gals. I may be already behind the 8 ball a little bit. Okay. So I'll put this back together mostly. And then run inside, grab the 2 feeders. Because I'm also going to feed probably the 8 frame if it's in the same kind of shape. Actually, I'll just grab 3 feeders because you never know, and I don't have to go back in. So. But we'll just stick the feeders directly right on top of this super, and obviously I'm not going to harvest that this year. We'll just rearrange frames and slide them down towards the end. All right, gals, you won't need this inner cover much longer, so let me go ahead and pop that off. Pop you off of there. All right. So we'll stick this back on there. And now, GoPro, stop recording. All right, we're back. I'm in the house. We got feeders. Because again, these gals are too weak. Probably should have recognized that last time, but I didn't. And so here we are. So we'll get a feeder on here. Let me actually throw protein patty on there too. But again, that'll be easy as popping this open. Well, I say that. Well, I'm not going to dick with that right now. We will just pop that open because I'll feed them later. I'm a dummy. They're going to be very surprised if I leave them there. All right, girls, I need you off the top. I'll drop that. Damn it, they just refuse to leave. All right. Can't have you there because I have to have you in below the feeder. All right, we're just going to do this. This sucks, but there you go. No, you're off now. And pissed. That's weird. That top sits that high. Huh. Or it's just that plastic's or the styrofoam's bowed from the block on there. Either way, it'll sit fine once I get a block on it. All right, moving over to here. All right. So slide everything. Yeah, actually, for the purposes of the camera, let's do it from this side. And because I don't have to move as much shit. All right. Man, I'm stuck. These gals were the Demaree that then swarmed, so they're probably slightly stronger than a split. Ooh, shit ton of bees coming out of there. They are not happy with that. I forgot to put that small hive beetle trap in there. All right, let's leave it and do it later when I put the pollen patty in there. All right, so what we got here. Decent number of bees, and they are hot. They're not happy with me at all. Man, they came running out the second I cracked that, so. Definitely want to smoke these gals. All right. All right, so frame rest. Actually, I don't need it really for this one, I don't think. That one's partially full. Actually, this one looks like it may have a little bit more in terms of stores. You know what I should have done? I still may do it when I come back in here to feed that one and put pollen on. I've got frames that are drawn out from the supers. There's no point in not giving them to fill those with feed rather than give them to try to draw out shit. I don't need the frame rest when there's nothing on it. Yeah, they are heads in and there's not a lot there. There's two or three frames of juice here, so I think I'll just put the feeder on this one as well. It's just not a lot of food because some of these frames weren't drawn out. I was trying to get them to draw them out and then they split, and obviously that screwed up a lot of that plan. Yeah, I mean they're somewhat drawn out and somewhat full, but not a ton, and not a lot of bees up here, which is annoying. All right, come on, finger. All right, screwing up the order, but that one was empty anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, a little, but not much. So I think I'll just, to be safe, probably feed them and then just spin these frames out at the end of the year and just spin them out. knowing that I can't extract it. Damn it. All right, let's look on down. Smidge. Oh man, I mean, you breathe on them just for a second and it just drives them nuts. It's really annoying. It's not like I mean to. Alright, let's see what we got here. It's funny, it's hot enough that the wax isn't really sticking as much, just kind of rolling and melting. Alright, see what we got here. A lot of bees here. Well, looks like a lot of brood there. There's also a lot of food because there's a shit ton of bees on it eating. Yep. Brood and honey. Brood and honey. Make sure I don't see mama there. None of that looks like it's been backfilled at all with, well, there's a little bit of nectar, but I don't see any eggs or larvae. See, popped brood, the next one. So, that's what am I doing? Scoot over here towards the middles. See if we can scoot these over so I can. Everything's not scooting as one as I'd hoped. Propolis is a little sticky icky. There we go. Well, that one's nothing but honey. So, yeah, I think, oh, that's kind of cool. I'm going to pull that one out just so you can see it. It's bananas. Oh, I mean, it's twisting the frame. It's so heavy. That's wild. All right, so 1, 2, 3. I mean, the safe thing to do is just feed them because I've probably already got all the honey I'm going to get off of these gals because there wasn't a ton backfilled there. I could always spin the frames out towards and then put them back on for the fall. So, probably what I'll do. Let's check the bottom box real quick and then we'll figure it out from there. All right. A little bit of brood. A decent amount of food. Problem is, it's either food or just absolutely nothing. It's a fat frame or zero on a frame. There's very little in between. Look at these gals. Nerp, nerp, nerp. All right. Check this real quick, and we got out here. At least looks. I mean, it looks better than the last one. The last one looked rough. This one looks not as bad. More stores, which makes sense because they were just a bigger hive that swarmed, but they did swarm. So, wow, yeah, ton of brood and food there. Well, former brood that's now turned into food and pollen patty, but they're still backfilling. I still see eggs. Wow, so this one's booming. So I may feed it just to make sure it's still booming because it's still got a shit ton of bees and there's just a ton of eggs there. So assuming I didn't just smash the queen in those few seconds, this one's killing it. That was the new queen after the swarm too. So all right, let's get this. Rub it back on. Smash something there. Sorry, gals. Promise it wasn't my intent. Alright, we'll put a small hive beetle trap in here. I don't know. I may hold off on feeding this one because it has a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it. I got time to think about it. I'll be back out here later. It'll be easy enough to get the my small hive beetle trap that has been completely propolized. So Open that back up. Ruby, please stop. Or just keep barking. That's an option. Her preferred option. I don't know why I'm putting this back in there, but I'm going to throw a feeder on, but let's put it back in there just in case I don't decide not to throw a feeder on. Back where it was. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that had a decent amount of stores in that second box. Put a ton of brood in the bottom. So, yeah, that one I think we might just leave. They've got more, but they're also a lot bigger, so it's one of those catch-22s. So if I don't do the wrong thing, I will take them backwards, which I obviously don't want to do. So, yeah, but as of right now, I'll think about it and go back, and I can always just pop back in there later in the week and give them food again. So, all right. Whew. Man. Let's go to here. Then we're going to stop because I need a drink. 3 hives in. GoPro, stop recording. So now we are here at the 4th hive. Feels like yesterday and I had 2 or 1. I got 6 in this. Nope, that's did not stick at all. That's wild. Didn't stick, fewer bees. This is one of the splits. This is one that I knocked the piss out of a couple times just to keep trying to keep it from swarming. Eventually I think I was obviously successful, but almost maybe too successful. So they will probably get a feeder just to be safe, because it is the split. And at some point I think I'm gonna, before the winter comes, might take him out of this. Oh, this is one I really got to be careful of queens up here, because this is one I took the excluder out of. Yeah, and that's why I took the excluder out of this one, because they just wouldn't stop making cap swarm cell after cap swarm cell after cap swarm cell. So, and I don't think they swarmed. I mean, who knows? Could have. They could be the ones I caught that are in the hive 2 down. But let's do a quick check here. This shouldn't take long. These will definitely get fed because there's almost nothing up here, I don't think. Let's see. That one's packed. Let's pull the next. Well, actually, I gotta be careful because she could be up here. I don't think she is. I think there was just enough honey maybe up here that she wasn't coming up, because I did put some drawing frames from last year up here. Nothing. Next one's nothing. One after that's something, but not. Come on. Oh, actually, that one's fat. Wow. Technically, I could harvest that. Yeah. Fat on the other side, too. Well, you know, I said I'm definitely going to feed these gals, but they've got way more food than that one over there did. Which is kind of wild, because I think I pulled frames from this one trying to get it to slow down. Another fat one. Yeah, so this one's actually surprisingly... Oh, we got 1, 2, 3 or 4 frames of up here. Let's see what's downstairs. I still may feed them just to be safe, but that will suck because I can't pull any of that. But what I should have done is brought out drawn frames, because having these undrawns in here is essentially useless this time of year. But I didn't think of that, so here we are. Not doing that. Alright, so here's where we'll probably run into a lot more bees, because there's not many up here. Shit. Not a ton of bees, though. Those frames are not super full. Alright, that decent. Fat. Those 2 are fat. Let's pull some frames, see what I got here. I think I might feed these gals. Like I said, I may have just knocked the piss out of them too much in terms of trying to knock them back. I may have knocked them out. Of course, I was so pissed at them, I didn't care. I was just tired of them doing the stupid swarming. Alright, I need to smoke these gals. Yeah, like I said, there's just not enough bees in here to not. They got a decent amount of food on several frames, but then it's just nothing after that. Still a ton of frames that aren't drawn out because I'd split frames and they just didn't get them drawn out before. Yeah. Let's see if we got brood there. Well, there's a ton of brood on the one after that, so get to there. Stuck as all get out though. They do not seem happy at all though. They are. Hold on. Okay. Well, maybe because the queen's on this frame because there's a ton of larvae here. The next frame is packed with brood. Yeah, let's get out of here. That next frame is absolutely golden packed with brood. So let's get out of here. They're getting angry. They don't like me. You know, it's a split. I still think I'm going to go ahead and feed them. Again, trying to get even a frame or two off a split is just silly of honey. Like you're working on next year's honey, not this year's honey. So just have to keep that in mind. So with that in mind, let's get all this back on and then stick a feeder on because these gals are going to get fed just to be safe. Put that stupid small beetle trap in. The knock on wood, again, famous last words. No, I don't think I've seen a single hive beetle today. Now I might get to these hives and they maybe eat up with them because they're small ones, but I've had really wet and followed by really, really dry, so I'm wondering if that just really is knocking the piss out of the small hive beetles versus the really, really wet, which is they obviously love. So, yeah, we'll come back out here. I'll have to throw the suit back on, but I'm going to throw a pollen padding on these two just to give them all they can get. But that queen's building up good. Surprised she hasn't started pulling. They haven't started laying up top, but still laying down the bottom strong, so nothing else to do there really for now. All right, so put that there. Drop that. Piss off the bees. All right, last two gals. My swarms. All right. Still a little worried about these gals. I hope, of course, I don't have it handy. You know what? I'd still have to feed like crazy anyway. I don't think it's going to work. I was going to say they may be ready for a box. I don't have to run and get it with the hive open. So GoPro, stop recording. All right, here we are, back. I went and grabbed a deep box. I mean, they may not need it, and obviously I'd have to throw a feeder. Well, there's already a feeder on this one, dummy. Gave these gals a little bit of feed the other day, not a ton. I don't want to try to pop that because it's not a feeder. No ants up here. Well, maybe just because it's dry, but hopefully the ant problem is diminished some because I'm sick of it. I'm also sick of grabbing petroleum jelly everywhere that I tried as a solution, which it worked to some, but it's also one of those, is it worth the hassle? The answer is probably no, because of... Sorry, gals, I don't want to smoke you too much. Just being in a single box, but also don't want you just attacking me from the word go. Here's where I gotta be careful, because she could be in there. Ton of that in there. I mean, I'll leave it. There's no value in taking it out. And I risk her being there and doing something bad. So, tell you what, I'm going to cover that up with the inner cover I stole from the other one, though. Just make it less likely for, well, that does no good when I'm covering up the spot that's not covering up the spot in the middle. So, yeah, let's do this instead. Stick another feeder on top. Give them room to come out, but not to kill me. All right, that's messy. I'll pull it off of here, but there's no point in pulling what's in there out. All right. Yeah, we need another box. I can't remember if I gave them. I assume I gave them drawn frames, but this box is, assuming there's food and or brood in most of these frames. I definitely need another box. That one's light, so they haven't done much to whatever's on this one. Slowly. Yeah. A little bit of syrup in there. Yeah, might as well give, if nothing else, I'll give them another one just so they can start drawing out those to try to get them ready for winter. Again, ton more food. Next one looks undrawn. Yeah, it's drawn. More food. Next one's fat with food. This just be in one box. I'll check every frame. But let's see if we can get. I need to get you gals off of there. See if I can do this without pissing them all off. Can I get you off of there just long enough for me to scrape it off, please? Or is that opposite effect? Probably the opposite effect. Let's see here. Whoa, there we go. Oh, that's funny. It's got some of it has pollen. There's pollen chunks in there. I've not seen them do that before. All right. So that one's nothing but food. It's so heavy. Yeah. Oh no, I take that back. There's some brood. I gotta be careful. See larvae on there. Looks like it. Tons of food on that side. Next frame is packed with brood, which is good. So. Yeah, that's super light, so that's all going to be all brood. Yep. Looks good. She's already back filling spots. I can see larvae over here. Need to be super careful. She could be here. Still doing some more backfilling. Obviously, I never see her, but same on the next one. Tell you what, I'm gonna stop there. What am I gonna do by going 4 or 5 more frames farther? I saw larvae, saw brood, I saw plenty of food. Stick a box on them. Oh, sorry, don't want to squish you. Stick a box on them and get out of here. Not a lot of value and keep on keeping on. Okay, try not to squish you, but you're up between the frames and it's a fat frame. Alright, so this goes on. Squeeze. Look out, gals. It's tight fit though. Alright, that goes on. I'll stick a big box on and we'll feed these girls like drunken sailors because they're going to be during a dearth, plus me trying to get them to draw out, which probably won't work great, but they got to do it at some point. So, and they're ready to start it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10. Yep, I just felt like big gaps on the edges. So, all right. So let's make sure no bees are on there. Of course there are, you dummies. Oh, small hot beetle. Damn it, I missed it. Well, that's one. That's the first one I've seen today. Now I'm on a mission. Just gonna try to get that fucker and kill him, but I was not killing bees. Man, they were already up there. That's wild how quickly they. And it wasn't just the ones that popped down either. All right, gals, I'm gonna leave that big fat thing of food you got there because I don't want to risk Mama being in there. Of course, I just dropped you, so I can do this without dropping the whole kit and caboodle. All right. Oh, well, I already put a small high beetle trap down below. Oh, there's a small high beetle. Come here, you fucker. Well, that one's dead. So there's a couple up in the trap here, which isn't up in the feeder, which isn't shocking. So, All right, so feed these girls like I'll pack it out just because I need to draw them out of another box before the winter, so they go through with. Oh shit! I just dropped that on the ground. That's gross. Let me put this somewhere so we don't get the freaking robbing happening. Look out! Move. Thank you. Shit, I got honey up in there. Let me wipe that out. Don't want the hive to get robbed just because there's freaking honey in the inner cover. I don't know why I just wiped it on the front. Maybe it'll take it, but maybe I just fixed the problem and created another one. Yeah, I got a big chunk of wax and honey there that I've taken inside. Screwed up and left one of those sitting beside. They had more brood than honey a month or so ago, and then we had visitors: raccoon, possum, and skunk. So don't leave brood laying anywhere near. Don't leave, brood and that laying anywhere near the hive. The vermins will find it quickly. Whew, man, I'm sweating. Can't imagine trying to do all this when it was so much hotter a couple weeks ago, though. All right, let's flip this around. Try to do it from the other side just so I can see better. Standing in front of the camera like an idiot. All right. Sweat start to pour into my eyes. It's always fun. All right. All right, guys, you got a feeder on top, so that's nothing there. Man, sweat is all up in my eyes. Let's see if I can. These guys got a second box much faster. They were just a bigger swarm. Put that on a couple times ago. Oh, I saw a small high beetle come out, but that was annoying. All right, I'm gonna flip this over in case Mama's up in there, which has happened. Happened over at John's. Don't see her, but there's a lot of space she could be that I wouldn't see her, so just have to flippity-doo-dah and then hope. All right, they've drawn out 3 or 4 frames here, but not a ton. And probably a couple of those were frames that I give them that were bait frames anyway. My small hot beetle trap has fallen, which is not good. Hopefully they didn't get everywhere. All right, frame rest. I'm going to check a couple of these just to see if the ones that have, they've drawn out, mostly just to see if they have any brood on them or if they're just honey. Oh, there's brood there. Okay, excellent. So let's go ahead and pull one of those to see what we got. Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Mama's doing her thing. I see larvae all the way to the edges. Gorgeous. Yeah. All right, we're done. Like, it just becomes do no harm this time of year, I feel like. Especially this time of year. It's like the spring, don't slow them down, and the dearth, don't kill them off, and fall, don't let the mites kill them. So especially don't kill them, don't kill them, don't kill them. All right, let's put that small hot beetle trap back in. We're going to set that with some juice, more juice in it. Because I'm pretty sure I saw one peeking out of there on this one. All right, so it didn't sit over there well, so let's put it over here instead somewhere. I don't know why it didn't sit over there well, but it didn't. Let's squeeze these in a little bit more. All right, we done. I'll come back. I think I'm going to come back later and throw some pollen patties on all of them, except Big Mama. Well, basically everything I put a feeder on, which is that one I chose not to. Still on the fence on that one, but these three and the one that's the 2 splits and the 2 swarms, I'm going to definitely give them a ton of liquid feed, and then probably go ahead and put a pollen patty on them just because I've got the pollen patty, so why not? All right, let's be careful here, not kill bees. But yeah, so let me just put this on, say it on camera. I'm going to put a pollen patty, that's kinky, a pollen patty in at least a gallon, maybe more. I'll probably just a gallon so it doesn't spoil, on the 2 swarms and the 2 splits. The Demarees, the big one obviously doesn't eat it. I think could eat the rest of them. And then the other Demarees kind of on the fence. So I may come back next weekend, just peek in that one and see how they're doing again, just so I don't add it feeder for no reason. Because that one I can get some honey off that one, I think, if they don't need it. All right, GoPro, stop recording.